So today's book is Click Clack Moo, Cows That Type. And instead of reading it through, starting with the picture walk and going through, I think that you guys kind of have the feel for that. And I want to make this a shorter video. So I'm not going to picture walk you through, but you will do that the first 2 times you read the story with the class. But what I want to concentrate on this time is really looking at how we can get some of those higher level thinking skills involved in getting kids to answer questions that aren't just in the text. So although we do want to include some of those questions, because we definitely have kids that need just that very basic level, we don't want to just leave it there. And I loved Mrs. G's suggestion of using the popsicle sticks. So each group now has a bag of popsicle sticks, and as you ask a question, just have those popsicle sticks in your lap and pull one out. Whoever's name is on it, they get to answer, so it's all very random. You can put it off to the side. You can use the rubber band in there to bundle those together then, and you'll know that those have already been called on, and then the next day you can keep choosing, so not every child will answer every single question. It's just taking too much time. So I thought that was a good suggestion, so we'll go ahead and do that. And one other thing is, I don't know if I misspoke or how the confusion happened, but this is the cover. We have a title on the cover, but our title page is actually this page in the story. So we're going to tell the kids this is our cover, spine, back, but the title is the words, and differentiate that from the pictures. We have our author is Doreen Cronin, pictures by Betsy Lewin, so our author writes the word, our illustrator draws the pictures, and then we have the title page where we have the title again, and it looks just like the title on the cover. Okay, so it starts off, Farmer Brown has a problem. His cows like to type. All day long he hears click, clack, moo. Click, clack, moo. Clickety, clack, moo. And this is a part where the kids can join in and choral read with you, that click, clack, moo part. So things that you could ask when you were on this page, and again, don't ask all of these questions all in the same day. It'll take too long, but I want to give you a variety of different questions you can ask. So on this page, you can talk about, well, have you ever been to a farm? What kind of animals live on a farm? What kind of animals would you expect to see? What animal says that moo sound? Do you think cows type when they're at a farm? Is that something that you would expect to see? Can you type? Do you know what typing is? So those type of things on this page. At first he couldn't believe his ears. Cows that type? Impossible! Click, clack, moo, click, clack, moo, clickety, clack, moo. You can talk about what does it mean if the Farmer Brown said impossible. What does that mean? And, you know, it's not very likely that that's going to happen. Well, other things are impossible. And be prepared for some silly answers. By the way, you should be writing down some of these silly answers in your book because it'll make you laugh someday. Then you can say, well, where do you think Farmer Brown is going? You know, he's headed somewhere and he looks like he's in a hurry. He's taking big steps. So where do you think he's going? And what do you think is making that sound click clack? The moo is coming from the cow, but what's the click clack coming from? And we're, you know, far enough away from using typewriters on a continual basis that they might not realize that's coming from the keys. They might know if they've got a keyboard that makes sounds, but if they've got one of the, like a laptop or whatever, where it's very quiet, they might not realize and make that connection. So you want to make that connection for them if they don't have it. So then we have this page. Then he couldn't believe his eyes. Dear Farmer Brown, the barn is very cold at night. We'd like some electric blankets. Sincerely, the cows. So you might want to talk about what an electric blanket is. They might not be familiar with a blanket that has a plug on it. And why would they want an electric blanket? Why would the cows want that? You can ask them if they have an electric blanket or if their parents have an electric blanket. And Ask them, how do you think that note got there? So you want them to make that connection that the cows did the typing and this is the note that they typed, and then they put it there. It was bad enough the cows had found the old typewriter in the barn. Now they wanted electric blankets. No way, said Farmer Brown. No electric blankets. So the cows went on strike. They left a note on the barn door. Sorry, we're closed. No milk today. So what do you think Farmer Brown is feeling about the cows not giving him any milk? You talk about that. Also, it said that the cows are on strike. What does that mean to go on strike? And you can talk about, have you ever felt like going on strike? Like you didn't want to do your work anymore, and so you were just going to go on strike and say, nope, I'm not going to do my work. And how do you think your parents would feel if you went on strike? Again, making those connections to their daily lives. No milk today, cried Farmer Brown. In the background, he heard the cows busy at work. Click, clack, moo. Click, clack, moo. Clickety, clack, moo. So you could ask about what you think that the cows are now writing, because they already wrote one note. So I wonder what they're writing now. And are there other things that they could type on instead of this typewriter? How else could they leave a note for Farmer Brown? So they could use a computer, they could use their phone, they could write with paper and a pencil. So the next day we find out what note he got. The next day he got another note. Dear Farmer Brown, the hens are cold too. They'd like electric blankets. Sincerely, the cows. So now we've got two animals that want electric blankets. So we've got the cows that want electric blankets, and now we have hens that want electric blankets. And you can ask them, and this is kind of one of those basic level questions, but why won't the hens give the farmer eggs? Because they're cold too, and they want the blankets too. And you can ask the kids if they've ever typed a note and what would it say, or what did it say if they did. The cows were growing impatient with the farmer. They left a new note on the barn door. Closed. No milk, no eggs. No eggs, cried Farmer Brown. In the background, he heard them. And what do you think he heard? Click, clack, moo. Click, clack, moo. Clickety, clack, moo. So you might want to point out that word impatient, and it means that they don't like waiting. And do they like waiting for stuff? No. So what things do they get impatient for? Maybe they're impatient watching somebody scoop out ice cream for them, or they're impatient when they have to wait in line to use the bathroom. And you can say, all right, well, if he's not going to get milk, who is he not getting milk from? Well, he's not getting milk from the cows. And if he's not getting eggs, who's not giving him the eggs? Well, that would be the hens. And we've got the chickens are just not working. So what does that mean? That they went on, try to remember that word, strike. They went on strike. Cows that type, hens on strike. Who ever heard of such a thing? How can I run a farm with no milk and no eggs? Farmer Brown was furious. So what does that mean? That word furious, what does that mean? It means you get very, very mad. Have you ever been furious? You're so mad at something. So you tell me about a time, and pull out those popsicle sticks. Tell me about a time you were furious. You were just mad. Everybody show me your furious faces. You're just so mad. I can't wait to see what this looks like. I'm not even watching myself anymore. So you can ask, do you like to drink milk and do you like to eat eggs? And if you were Farmer Brown, wouldn't you be furious too if you couldn't eat the eggs and drink the milk? So Farmer Brown gets out his own typewriter now. So he got out his own typewriter and he writes, Dear cows and hens, there will be no electric blankets. You are cows and hens. I demand milk and eggs. Sincerely, Farmer Brown. So, how do you think the hens and the cows are going to react to this? Do you think they're going to like getting that note from the farmer? Probably not. So, let's see how they respond. Duck was a neutral party, so he brought the ultimatum to the cows. So neutral is a word that you have to discuss. And neutral means that you don't take any sides. And an ultimatum, that's probably a word they're not familiar with.